What happens when a beloved actress sits down for what should be a friendly morning chat and ends up in one of the most explosive confrontations daytime television has ever seen? This is the story of how one interview went so terribly wrong that it ended with security escorting a guest off the set. Cameras still rolling and millions of viewers watching in absolute shock. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below telling us what you think about what went down. Now let's get into it. The studio lights were blazing hot that morning as Cheryl Hines walked onto the view set, waving to the audience with that familiar warm smile everyone knows from her years on television. She was there to talk about her latest project, a documentary series she had poured her heart into for years. The audience clapped enthusiastically as she took her seat at the table, smoothing down her dress and accepting a glass of water from a production assistant. Whoopi Goldberg kicked things off with her usual welcoming charm, asking Cheryl about the project and what inspired it. Cheryl leaned forward, clearly excited to share. "You know, this series has been such a labor of love," she began, her tone warm and sincere. "We spent 3 years traveling around the country, meeting real people, hearing their stories, their struggles, their victories. I wanted to highlight voices that don't always get heard." For the first few minutes, the conversation flowed smoothly. Cheryl Hines asked about the difficulties of filming on location, and Cheryl laughed as she shared some funny stories from the road. Sonny Hostin joined in, asking thoughtful questions about the themes of the documentary, and Cheryl answered with passion, explaining how important it was to show different points of view. The audience seemed fully engaged, laughing at the right moments, applauding where they should. Everything seemed to be going perfectly. Then Behar, who had been quietly observing, leaned forward with a small, knowing smirk. "So, Cheryl," she said, her voice carrying an edge that instantly changed the energy in the room. "Let's talk about the real reason you're here today. Your documentary, it's stirred up some controversy, hasn't it? Some people say it's pushing a certain message that not everyone's comfortable with." Cheryl's smile faltered just slightly, but she recovered quickly. "I wouldn't call it controversial, Joy. I'd say it's honest. We spoke with people from all different walks of life, all different perspectives. The whole idea was to highlight that diversity." Joy waved her hand as if brushing that off. "Come on. We all know what this is really about. You've aligned yourself with certain people, certain viewpoints, that a lot of us find troubling. Don't you think you have a responsibility, given your platform, to be careful about the messages you're putting out there?" The other hosts shifted uneasily. Whoopi tried to step in. "Well, I think what Cheryl is trying to say is—" But Joy cut her off. No, I want to hear it from her," she insisted, eyes locked on Cheryl. "Because I've seen clips from this documentary, and frankly, I have to question your judgment. You're giving airtime to ideas that are dangerous. How do you justify that?" Cheryl straightened in her chair, her calm professionalism starting to crack. "Joy, I think you're misrepresenting what the project is about. We didn't set out to promote an agenda. We set out to listen. That's what real journalism used to mean, listening to people even when you disagree." "Oh, don't lecture me about journalism," Joy shot back, her voice rising. "I've been doing this for decades. And what I see here is someone who's lost her way, someone giving a platform to extreme ideas under the disguise of balance. That's not brave. That's careless." The audience went silent. The air in the studio was thick with tension. Cheryl's expression hardened. "Complicit in what exactly?" she asked firmly. "In letting people tell their stories? In refusing to silence voices just because they don't fit a certain mold?" "There it is," Joy said, pointing at her. "That's the problem, this false balance idea. Some viewpoints don't deserve equal weight. Some things are just plain wrong. Pretending otherwise isn't courageous. It's irresponsible." Sonny tried to calm things down. "Maybe we should focus on the documentary itself instead of making assumptions." But Joy talked over her. "I've seen enough," she said, ignoring Sonny completely. "And honestly, I'm disappointed. I used to respect you, Cheryl. I thought you were smarter than this. But you've clearly been hanging around certain people, and it's clouded your thinking." Cheryl's hands tightened around the armrests. "You haven't even watched the entire film, have you?" she asked sharply. "You saw a few clips taken out of context and decided you know everything about it. That's not fair. I don't need to watch the whole thing to see what it is, Joy said with a scoff. It's like saying I need to eat an entire rotten apple to know it's bad. That's insulting, Cheryl shot back, her voice rising. You're sitting here on national television attacking my work, my integrity, and my intelligence? And for what? Because I dared to make something that doesn't fit your narrative? Joy leaned back, crossing her arms. Your narrative is the issue. You think you're just being open-minded, but you're actually legitimizing dangerous nonsense, and I'm calling it out. I came here for a conversation, Cheryl said, her voice shaking slightly with anger. What I'm getting instead is a lecture from someone who's already made up her mind. Whoopi tried again. Ladies, let's take a breath. No, Joy interrupted. I'm not done. Cheryl needs to understand that her platform has influence. Stories have power. And when you choose which stories to tell, you're making a moral choice. Cheryl suddenly stood, her chair scraping loudly. The audience gasped. You know what, Joy? I'm done. I came here in good faith, and instead I've been ambushed. You haven't asked a single real question. Sit down, Cheryl, Joy said coldly. We're not finished. Yes, we are, Cheryl said, her voice steady. I don't have to sit here and be disrespected. This isn't an interview. It's an attack. Joy stood too. You're walking away because you can't defend your choices. I'm walking away because this is pointless, Cheryl said. You're not listening. You just want to feel superior. The other hosts rose, trying to defuse the situation. Please, let's just take a moment, Sarah urged, reaching toward Cheryl. But Cheryl was already unclipping her microphone. I'm sorry to the rest of you, she said, looking at Whoopi and the others. You've been kind, but I won't do this. Joy took a step toward her. Running away, just like I thought. Can't handle being challenged. Cheryl turned, eyes flashing. I'm not running. I'm refusing to argue with someone who doesn't care about fairness. Fair? Joy scoffed. Let's talk about fair. Is it fair that you get to use your fame to spread harmful ideas? Is it fair that you get a deal to promote views that hurt people? You keep saying I'm spreading something harmful, but you can't even define what that is, Cheryl said. You're making vague accusations because you know if you got specific, your argument wouldn't hold up. I know enough, Joy said bitterly. I know who you sat down with. Who, Joy? Cheryl interrupted. People who think differently than you? People whose experiences make you uncomfortable? That's what this is really about, isn't it? You can't handle a viewpoint that challenges yours. Don't twist this, Joy snapped. This isn't about different opinions. This is about right and wrong. So you decide what's right and wrong? Cheryl asked, shaking her head. That's not journalism, Joy, that's censorship. The audience began murmuring. Whoopi was gesturing wildly to the producers trying to get control, but the confrontation was past that point. How dare you call me authoritarian? Joy shouted. I've spent my whole career fighting for truth, and I won't apologize for calling out people who undermine it, even if they used to be America's sweetheart. There it is, Cheryl said with a tight smile. You're angry that I don't fit into your box anymore. You're mad that I grew, that I formed my own views. Joy pointed directly at her. You didn't grow, you fell. You got pulled into a world that feeds your ego. You're not enlightened. You're lost. You don't know me, Cheryl snapped. You've built a fake version of me in your head and decided to argue with that. Did you just call me delusional? Joy gasped. If the word fits, Cheryl said quietly. You're arguing with your own imagination. The hosts looked stunned. Sunny covered her mouth. Sarah stared at the floor. Whoopi finally shouted, Enough! Both of you! But they didn't stop. I won't apologize for standing up for what's right, Joy yelled. And I won't apologize for thinking for myself, Cheryl fired back. You don't want a discussion. You want obedience. You want everyone to think like you. That's not integrity. That's control. Joy's voice dropped, calm but venomous. You actually believe you're standing up for something real, but you're not. Look who supports your film. You're just serving a different establishment. And you're not? Cheryl countered. You sit in that chair every day telling people what to think, pretending you're the rebel when you're the system. There is a right side, Joy insisted, and history will prove it. I have taken a stand, Cheryl said. For listening. For treating people like individuals, not stereotypes. For admitting the world isn't black and white. Nua.